Hey, this is Antonio. Welcome back to my channel, and we're gonna have some fighting words. So in this video, the fight is here, one day away actually. Gervonta Tank Davis versus Mario Barrios. And I've already had the fight breakdowns for you all, so both fighters' individual breakdowns. Now I'm gonna give you the fight prediction, who I think will be the victor in this fight coming Saturday. So let me just start with the last press conference that the two fighters had. Tank is extremely confident, to the point where he's giggling as as the announcer is saying, he's asking the questions, as he's supposed to. He's asking the questions to both fighters, and he's asking Barrios, hey, if you're going to be successful, and let's say you knock Tank out, Tank is literally giggling at that. And he actually does this moment where he just kind of looks over at him like, now we both know that's not going to happen. So he's very confident. Also his team, the money team, and Mayweather Promotions, Leonard Ellerby more specifically, they're all talking about what they're gonna do with Tank after he gets over this fight. They're already looking. I hate to say that they're looking past Barrios, because in some of Tank's other fights, he was fighting older fighters who were on the tail end of their careers, like Gamboa and Santa Cruz. And now you have a guy who's just as young as Tank. Now you have a guy who's undefeated like Tank. Now you have a guy who's just as dangerous as Tank in his division. So, but also Tank is going up to fight him at 140 pounds. But another little thing, he's a current champ. Santa Cruz and Gamboa were previous champs. He's current. So mentally, there's nothing in Barrios that will tell him he's not going to win, because he hasn't, at least as a professional, faced a defeat yet. So if he hasn't tasted defeat, why would he think he's going to lose now? The only thing that would make him think he's going to lose now is the machine that's behind Tank, and what their plans are after Tank steps over you. And Barrios seemed pretty locked in. He's like, I have every intention of stopping that train on those tracks. Like, you're not going any further if your plans are to go over me to do whatever you plan on doing after this fight. And just the way he said it, there was a subtlety to it. Like, it was very intense. And you can tell as he's speaking, he's thinking at the same time. And he's like, I know they're all thinking this is going to happen, but I have something else in mind. And I know you're going to say, well, every fighter says that. That's true. But not every fighter is undefeated. Not every fighter is, around the same age as Tank. Not every fighter is bigger than him. He has everything within himself and also external tools for him to believe that he can win. Again, he's never lost, so he has no reason to believe he's going to lose, because he's never lost. But he has all the tools physically. Let's just start with those tools. Well, one, he's bigger. He is the champ at 140 pounds. Tank is moving up 2 weight classes just to come and fight him. So he has that advantage. 2, he is the champ. Mentally, he's never lost. I can't stress that enough. That is very, very important. Doubt can't seep into him because he's been successful thus far. So there's no section in his mind where he's thinking, well, maybe I won't win, or something along those lines. Another thing is he's a natural at the weight class, so he's used to taking big punches. So what's a power punch to a guy at 130 or 135 that Tank is normally fighting may not be as much of a power punch to Barrios, because he's he's used to fighting bigger guys. So that's another factor right there. But what is making me sway in this prediction is, like I said, Barrios seemed very locked in saying, I'm about to stop the hype train of Gervonta Tank Davis. It's the way he said that. It wasn't like he's saying, listen, I'm going to win. He said it in a way that made me think, I'm going to win in a very dramatic fashion. And that worries me, because I already know that he's the type of fighter who will get into a firefight. I already know that about him. If you don't know anything about Barrios, please go and look at my earlier video just on his fight breakdown. But I do know he's just got that in him where if you want to slug it out, we can slug it out. However, in doing so, you're going to sacrifice boxing, movement, an understanding of what's going on around you. And if he were to stand still, the only reason why I'm bringing this up, believe me, I'm going somewhere with this. The reason why I'm bringing this up is this. Santa Cruz was actually doing okay with Tank. And it's when he decided to sit still in the corner, which I'm pretty sure his team was telling him, don't do this. I'm pretty sure throughout the entire camp, they told him, don't do this. But he was so comfortable, he was landing shots, and he was landing those shots clean. So that's the reason why I'm saying I'm worried about Barrios. He already has it in him where he's just a natural slugger. He can take it there. He could get comfortable in taking it there. One thing about Tank that I love and I hate at the same time is he will sacrifice. What do I mean by sacrifice? Well, he sacrificed in the Santa Cruz fight. He took like three big shots just to give that uppercut. Now, granted, that uppercut was from Hades, but still, he sacrificed taking a punch to give a really good punch. And yeah, that works because Santa Cruz is naturally a smaller guy, so that works. So you can sacrifice your jaw and stick it out there just to give him something back. But you can't do that with a guy who's bigger than you. And I mean naturally bigger than you. It's dangerous, very dangerous. But Tank has this great, he's really good with leverage. He's young. He doesn't have, like 30, 40 fights under his belt, but he's very experienced. You can tell he does a lot of sparring. You can tell growing up he's done a lot of sparring. And he understands leverage. So when I say he'll sacrifice just to get in the right position, just so he can land something solid and clean, he will do that. And I think that could be very detrimental to Barrios. If he allows himself to get into a firefight and then he sits still. Don't sit still in this fight. You have the height. You have the weight advantage. You can leave him here the entire night. Leave him at the end of your jab. At the end of your jab, stand up straight. If you want to take a perfect idea, like snapshot of how this could look, Lennox Lewis versus Mike Tyson or Buster Douglas versus Mike Tyson. The taller guy kept the shorter guy at the end of his punch, at the end of his jab. That's what you got to do to win this fight. You allow him to eat enough jabs throughout the fight. Maybe his eye get a little puffy or something like that. Maybe you'll even cut him. But there's nothing wrong with playing it safe if you get the W in the end. Play it safe. Believe me, Tank will definitely sacrifice just to get proper positioning. And if he gets proper positioning, he's good with leverage. He will take full advantage of it. And it doesn't take him 5, 10 punches to soften you up. One punch can do it. So be aware of that. It's because of that, and only because of that, I feel like I'm going to have to go with Tank on this. I don't necessarily care how confident or cocky he is at the press conference. That doesn't tell me a whole lot. Everybody, once they go through training camp, they seem pretty confident. My thing is just, I know how Barrios fights. If he boxes, I think he has a very high chance of winning this fight. If he boxes. If he uses his natural God-given abilities and gifts, I think he can easily beat Tank. He's a good boxer, and he's very tall, a lot taller than Tank. And he could just bully him all night. He could bully. Another thing that Lennox Lewis would do, he would jab people and he'd push them, and all in the same. So he would jab you, and your hands would go up, and he'd just push you off of him. Like, you got too close. I want you here. I don't want you I want you at this range, don't want you at this range. So I'm going to push you afterwards. You can bully him around. It's a good tactic, and it's annoying. So someone like Tank, it could be pretty annoying. And it could force him to do things out of his character just to get in close. But like I said, he will sacrifice just to get proper positioning. And if he does, it doesn't take a lot of punches. That's what's worrying me about this fight, is I know it doesn't take him a lot of punches. If they get into a firefight on the ropes, and Barrios says, you know what? I've won the last 3 rounds. I've won the last 2 rounds. Look at the Santa Cruz fight. He was winning before Tank pretty much cut off the lights. He was doing very well in that fight. Don't get comfortable. Don't get lax. Don't go to those ropes. Don't take a chill moment. And do not get in a firefight. You jab, you box, you use movement, circular movement, not going back. Tank is already naturally a bully in the ring. Do not just go straight back. Go to the side and continue to use your jab. Barrios could win this fight very easily, very convincingly. And to a boxer, he would win just in a clean style and fashion. But the way he was talking in the press conference just shows, or gave me the impression he wanted a knockout and he was coming for it. That's what he gave me. And I'm not saying he can't do it, because he definitely has knockouts on his record. He has 17 knockouts out of 26 fights, so he's doing something right. But in this case, I'm just saying play it safe. That's all I'm saying. And because of that, my fight prediction is going to have to go to Tank. I don't know if this goes the distance. I honestly, I think it will go to distance, but I do think there will be more than one knockdown. That's what I think. I think there will be more than one knockdown. I think this fight will be very reminiscent of Tank versus Gamboa. That's what I think. And that's my prediction. As always, may the best man win, but that is my prediction. But you tell me what you think down below, and as always, please like and subscribe.